Yep. We got 'em.
Notice is hereby given that the zoning board of appeals of town of Islip will hold a public hearing on Tuesday, July 16, 2024, on the following applications at the times thereafter as soon as they may be reached. At such time, all interested parties will be given an opportunity to be heard. And when you hear your name, please come up to the podium and give us your name and address. Application number 410-24, Ryan and Catherine McGarvey. Permission to leave in-ground pool having rear yard of 16.9 feet instead of required 18 feet, and pool equipment and pool patio having rear yard of 5 feet instead of required 6 feet each. Residence AAA District, east side of South Connecticut Avenue, 526.19 feet north of South Court, Bay Shore.
Hi, Ryan McGarvey, 87 South Connecticut Bay Shore.
On the
Sorry?
setbacks for the pool and the pool equipment?
I'm sorry, couldn't hear
Are you here just for the setback on the pool equipment and the pool?
you. Yeah, just for the pool and the patio around the pool.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, you look big and strong. Can you move that podium closer? Because we're gonna be yelling at people, and we do that anyway.
Thanks.
Jordan, you want to get that?
That better?
A little more. That's good. We don't get too close.
All right.
We don't, friends. All right. Does anybody have any questions on this from the board? Planning, any comments on this? No, is there anyone else who would like to be heard in this application? All right, I'll take a motion, please.
Another one for Red, yeah.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion's granted, application granted. Have a good night. Thank you.
Application number 411-24, Sean and Danielle Carney. Permission to alter roof line and to leave roofed over porch having side yard of 9.9 feet instead of required 14 feet, and to leave shed having 18 feet behind the front line of the dwelling instead of required 20 feet. Residence B District, west side of Farm Lane, 100 feet north of Udalia Road, West Islip.
Danielle Carney, 108 Farm Lane, West Islip, New York.
Good evening. You're here just on the roof, setback for the roof, side yard on the roof.
Yeah.
And the shed, though. Is the shed movable?
No,
I know. Move it 2 feet. Planning, any questions?
Maybe Jordan can move it.
Anyone else like to be heard in this application?
I have a comment. You don't tend to close.
over the porch? No. Okay, no problem.
Anybody else like to be heard in this application? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Great, thank you.
Application's granted.
Appreciate it.
Application number 412-24, Jason Farella and Lynn Farella. Permission to leave in-ground pool having rear yard of 8.1 feet instead of required 10 feet. Pool patio having rear yard of 2 feet instead of required 6 feet. Patio having rear yard of 2.1 feet instead of required 4 feet. And platform deck having side yard of 0.1 feet instead of required 4 feet. Residence B District, north side of Namrock Lane, 585.65 feet east of Grundy Avenue, Holbrook.
Hi, Jason Farella, 11 Namaroff Lane, Holbrook, New York.
Good evening. Any questions from the board? Planning, any comments? Anyone else that would like to be heard in this application? I'll take a motion, please.
Make a motion, we approve the application.
All in favor? Application is granted.
Thank you.
Application number 413-24, Carla Ochoa Ortiz and Carla Ortiz Avalar. Permission to leave retaining wall 33 inches high on side property line not having required setback of 4 feet. Residential redevelopment district, north side of Smith Street, 508.91 feet west of McKinney Avenue, Central Islip.
Hi, Carla D. Ochoa Ortiz, 35 Smith Street, Central Islip, New York, 11722.
Any questions from the board on this application? Planning, you have any comments on this? Is there anyone else that would like to be heard in this application? Okay. Favor?
Aye.
Application is granted.
Thank you.
Application number 342-24, William and Elizabeth McGuire. Permission to leave in-ground pool having side yard of 9.1 feet instead of required 14 feet, and pool patio having side yard of 2.9 feet instead of required 6 feet. Residence A District, south side of Chatham Drive, 1,571.75 feet west of Waterford Road, Oakdale.
I'm William McGuire, 88 Chatham Drive, Oakdale.
Do you have any questions on this from the board, on the pool patio? Planning, any comments?
It was previous grant. That's not the offsite. It's offset boards.
Anyone else that would like to be heard in this application? Okay, I'll take a motion, please. All in favor?
Aye.
Application is granted.
Thank you.
Application number 414-24, Brooke Stemler. Permission to leave roofed over patio having side yard of 9.5 feet instead of required 14 feet, and total side yards of 20.2 feet instead of required 28 feet. Patio having side yard of 1.8 feet instead of required 4 feet. Bin/shed 10 feet behind the front line of the dwelling instead of required 20 feet. And driveway on side property line not having required setback of 4 feet. Residence B District, north side of Maple Street, also known as Railroad Street, 159.17 feet east of Gillette Avenue, Blue Point.
Good evening. Len Crick, Island-wide Permit Services, office at 86 Center Street in Ronkonkoma for Brooke Stemler, the owner. We're here requesting variances for the setbacks of a few structures on the subject property. Upon entering, there's a gravel driveway with its eastern edge running along the side property line. The driveway is totally screened, though, by the neighboring lot's natural wall of 15 to 20 foot tall trees and shrubs. For that matter, the same thing applies to the roof over patio and the bin. The roof over patio is a completely open structure, basically a pass-through to the rear yard. It's also totally screened by that same natural wall. The bin is a small 24-foot storage structure with a sloped roof that peaks at 6.3 feet. And that's also totally screened by that natural wall. I'm sorry, yes, 24 square feet. Sorry about that. The patio, the final item, the patio in the west side of the rear yard holds a 1.8-foot side yard. The neighboring land is a vacant 24-foot wide buffering leg that's part of the neighboring rear lot that's owned by Bayport Flower Farms.
Property to the north.
Any questions?
Questions from the board on this? Planning, any comments?
As you were saying, the open side yards are sort of
Mhm.
takes the setbacks towards what they actually are. And yeah, the bin's like just on.
Is there anyone else that would like to be heard in this application? Okay, I'll take a motion, please.
Point.
Second. Second?
Second.
Okay, good. All in favor? Aye. Application is granted.
Thank you.
Application number 415-24, Christopher Schweitzer. Permission to establish accessory apartment pursuant to Islip Town Code Section 68-602 on lot having area of 7,312.5 square feet instead of required 7,500 square feet, and to leave driveway on side property line not having required setback of 4 feet. Residence B District, south side of Cambridge Avenue, 225 feet west of St. Charles Street, Holbrook.
Once again, Len Crick, Island-wide Permit Services. Mr. Schweitzer has owned this property since the house was being built back in 1968, and he'd like to set up a second-floor accessory apartment on a lot that is slightly undersized by only 188 square feet. The driveway's western edge is on the property line, but the neighboring property is vacant land that is part of MacArthur Airport.
Questions from the board?
Nope.
Planning, any comments? No comment. Is there anyone else that would like to be heard in this application?
Make a motion, we approve the accessory apartment for a period of 3 years and approve the rest of the application.
Favor?
Thank you. Have a good night.
Application number 416-24, Wilman Martinez. Permission to establish accessory apartment pursuant to Islip Town Code, Section 68-602. Residence AA District, south side of Gates Avenue, 1,600 feet west of Fulton Street, Brentwood.
Yeah, my name is William Martinez, 6 Gate Avenue, Brentwood, New York.
You're the applicant.
Yeah.
You currently residing at the house?
I'm sorry?
You currently live at the house?
Yeah.
Because there was a fire? Hold on, sir. We'll ask for public comment. Okay? You currently reside at the house. You live at the house now?
Live at the house now? I'm sorry, I can't
Do
understand.
you live at the house right now?
But it's, my house is on the fire, so we are in construction now. On the construction now.
I think you said your house was under fire.
Yeah,
It's being repaired now?
yeah, repair now, yeah.
Where do you live right now? What's your address?
Valley Stream. Valley Stream, right now. Yeah.
Stream?
Oh.
Yeah, right now we
You
are,
ever live at this house on Gates Avenue?
yeah, but right now nobody living there. This under construction.
There's a fire. Are you gonna
Yeah.
move back there after the fire?
Yes.
When will that be?
1 year ago. So,
Fire was 1 year ago.
yeah, 1 year ago.
How long until you move back?
Depends on what
I
had,
know it depends what.
I had to, I need a permit to, I need to remove my solar panel. Yeah, the Sunova take a long time for remove. I don't know what happened.
Like a year?
Yeah, I call day every day, so they cancel, the last day, 2 days ago, they cancel again, so had to call again, so take much time, I don't know. I have,
All right, is there anything else you'd like to say to us at this time?
I'm sorry.
We're going to see if anyone else would like to comment on your application. So can you just step aside and we'll have someone else come
Oh,
up?
sure.
Is anyone else would like to be heard in this application one at a time? Please come up. Thank you.
First of all, he does not live in the
If you could
house.
just please give us your name and address, feel free.
Mary
to pull.
Francisco, 3 Gates Avenue, Brentwood, New York.
That's your last name, I'm sorry, what was it?
Francisco, Francisco,
Your first name, ma'am?
Mary, Mary.
Thank you. Do you want to pull the microphone down so we can hear you?
First of all, he does not live in the house.
Okay.
Second of all, he's going to put in 4 apartments like an apartment house. We are not the Bronx or Brooklyn or Queens. That's the dead end street. He does that. 4 apartments will be giving us 8 extra cars. Who knows who else has got a car? Where's he going to park them? You can't get up that street anyway.
I ask you a question, ma'am? You say he's not living in the house. Is he not living there because there was a fire and it's flooded? Or was he living there before there
It
was?
isn't, well, he wasn't living there at all.
What makes you think there's gonna be 4 apartments, not 3?
He's been bragging.
Okay.
But you know what they say, loose lips
Should
sink
have it in the
ships.
file, yeah.
Yeah, right. When that happens, I'll let you know. Yeah, I know. I'm 84 years old and I don't think I should have. Yeah, right. Don't, that ain't gonna help me. So I'm sorry, but that's the way I keep my house clean. I have to pay for my grandson to live in the apartment that I have. So, I mean, just times it. 4 apartments. Figure 2 people to an apartment, that's 8. So, you're welcome.
My name is Godfrey Samuels. I live at 10 Gates Avenue, Brentwood, New York, 11717. This gentleman, he bought a house about 2 years ago or 1 year ago. He sublet it, tenants. He had tenants there. and they had a barbecue, and the house caught a fire. No, no. I know the tenants that were there, and the day the fire truck came, he came running down the street, coming from Nassau County. He does not live there. I'm living there 20-something years. And to have an apartment building put up when he's so reckless that the tenants burned down this house and he stopped repairing it to try to make it more accessible for apartment building. The tenants were in the house when it caught a fire. His neighbor called them out. The neighbor called them out, and he started repairing it, and then it seems to stop because somebody must have given him this idea that you can turn it into apartment building, not on a dead-end street when we have grandkids running all over the place. Some of the tenants, I was out of town and I came in last night and they came to me about it, but some of them couldn't make it. It's a short dead-end block that's aside to the golf course. Why do we need apartment building? For me to have a pool, I got to get a permit. If they don't even want apartment building over where the racetrack, the racehorse polo place is, and that's close to the subway. There's a fight about that. On my dead-end street, no way. And I'm not moving. It's ridiculous. These funny grabbers.
Yes, sir. No, I live there. So I have my license, I have everything right there. So yeah. So yes, my house is big house. It's big house. Yeah, that's why. So we are three together. We're together three. Three.
Plus you,
No, with me.
so you have 3 other families living in the house with you?
Yeah. Around
I mean, we got
three.
into the fort after the fire, that 3 families, Red Cross, was all family. How could you have one family house?
Because
One family house?
but don't rent what separate ones. So we live together. We live together. So that we live together. One family live on this in the second floor, and the other one, the rest in the first floor. And that's why I try to.
Charging them rent.
Yeah, because I was application a few months ago. Yes, sir.
Redirect. I said, are you charging rent? Yeah, or you aren't. Not a hard question. Yeah, it's for the fire.
Oh, charge rent. Well, yeah, a little bit. Yeah, not too much, but I take a, I was put the permit long couple of what 2 years ago. I tried the permit to the house side. Yeah, I started the process.
You start the process.
Yes, I the
Because the
process.
permit doesn't let you have 3 families.
No, 2 families.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You had 3. Starting the process.
but they live with me on the second floor. Yeah.
Starting the process doesn't mean you have a permit. Didn't have a permit. That's my main question. That's like
206, 207.
Before we rule on your application, you want to come back maybe?
Yeah.
Wait. You want to be heard in this application?
Hablo español, yo hablo español, Mary knows me.
Okay.
Are you in here in any connection with this application to oppose it, to support it, or anything like that?
Listen, I'm Spanish,
I know. but
he's
you also-
Spanish.
Yeah.
I just want to help him, because
No, but
I feel it in my heart, he needs help.
We will, sir. And that's why I'm asking. Mr. Tony, you have any interest in this application?
Yeah, are you here to say you support him or oppose him?
I'm not here with him, but just being Latino, I just
Oh,
want
okay,
to.
I just want to make sure you weren't involved in this, and that you're neutral.
Bye.
That's all. Yeah, you're just here to interpret.
Can I?
If you want to, if you would like that, yeah.
If he would like.
Te ayudo, quiero ayudar.
Claro, gracias, gracias.
¿Me puedo ayudar?
Sí, señor. Gracias.
Okay.
Thank you.
I don't know him from a hole in the wall, but I'm Spanish, so,
I just wanted to make sure everything's.
yeah.
No, it's different. So,
Yo
there
te
you
quiero
go.
ayudar.
Sí, gracias, muchas gracias.
Ellos quieren saber cuánta familia que tú tenías en esa casa estaba pagando renta.
Una.
¿Cuánta familia?
Una.
Uno. One.
Live with me. No free, but live with me.
Una familia. Just one family with him. No, he says one family.
One lives separate, the other one live with me. Una vivía separada y otra vivía.
Okay, so he's living there. He has another family. He needs an accessory apartment permit. That's what he needs. Yes. But you know what?
So you're here to take our.
Okay. El departamento de bomberos,
Ujú.
ellos dicen que tú tenías 3 familias. 3.
Éramos 3 familias, sí.
Tres familias.
3 familias tuve, sí.
familias.
Somos 3 familias.
So,
Una paga
there's
renta.
3 families living in one house.
Ya, solo una paga renta.
Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you, Mary.
Thank you, Baba.
Anyone else would like to be heard in this application?
It hasn't already been heard.
Can I say something else? You already heard, is there something unique?
I just want to add.
We heard it.
You heard the story.
Yeah.
All right, I'll take the motion.
We deny the
Deny? Okay. Thank you.
Application number 417-24, Dennison Jane Berg, permission to leave retaining wall planter 22 inches in height, driveway and patio on side property lines not having required setback of 4 feet each. Residence A District, east side of Bayshore Avenue, 975 feet south of Rockaway Street, West Islip.
Good afternoon, or good evening.
Good evening.
Okay, my name is Melissa Graham. I'm from Long Island Perfect Permits. We are located at 124 Front Street, Suite 205, Massapequa Park. I'm the agent representing Lee and Jane Berg, owners of 800 Bayshore Avenue in West Islip. The application was filed to maintain an expanded front driveway, side patio, and retaining wall planter installed with not having the required setback of 4 feet. Currently, the concrete patio paver has a 0-foot setback. The concrete paver patio was existing when the clients purchased the house in 1999. The rear retaining wall planter has a setback of 1.9 feet. This was installed approximately 20 years ago, as you can see from the height of the bushes in the picture we submitted. The driveway is right up against the south property line, as you can see in the pictures submitted as well. The driveway was widened in 2007. My clients own the abutting property next to the driveway. We have signatures from neighbors to the north and 2 neighbors who abut the parcel to the south that my clients own in favor of this variance being granted. We feel that the items presented today are not out of character for the neighborhood. We have signatures from the neighbors who abut the parcel to let you know that they are in favor of the property that I would like to submit. And that concludes my presentation. If you have any questions. Thank you very much. Have a good evening.
Application number 418-24, Kerwin Canas, permission to establish accessory apartment pursuant to Islip Town Code Section 68-602. Residence A District, east side of Dale Drive, 83.4 feet south of Matthews Road, Oakdale.
Hello, good evening. Kerwin Cañas, 123 Dale Drive, Oakdale, New York, 11769. Yes, sir.
Aye. Application is granted for a period of 3 years. Thank you.
Application number 419-24, Frank Secenti, permission to leave detached garage having height of 14.32 feet instead of permitted 14 feet, and egress window having front yard of 19.2 feet instead of required 25 feet. Residence B District, north side of West Islip Boulevard, 145.82 feet east of Higby Lane, West Islip.
Frank Sesenti, 321 West Islip Boulevard.
And so you're just here on the attached garage height and then.
Correct. Correct. It's,
Anyone else would like to hear this application?
This drawing here? Yes. Jeff Billick. I own the property behind Mr. Sicanti. 14 Paprocki Avenue, West Islip. Let me look at this for a second. Town is mindful that Mr. Sicanti just built a gigantic garage. Next to the garage he wants to retain. A gigantic garage. I'm mindful. I'm mindful of that. I have to notice. Okay. Okay? I have no other objection.
I just want to let you know that you can do the same thing.
I may just be doing that. Thank you.
Right. Is there anyone else?
This is 2
Yes.
years in a row, police granted.
Well, he has to.
Yeah, but it's less. It's less.
It's less.
Just, I'm wearing on you.
You said it at 15.5. You abide by your Williams.
Application, application number 420-24. Jessica Sliwak, George Portelli, Karen McDonough, and Kelly McDonough. Permission to install in-ground pools 16 by 34, leaving side and rear yards of 7 feet instead of required 14 feet each, and to leave walkway having front yard occupancy of 13% instead of permitted 12%. Residence A District, northwest corner of Higby Lane and South Street, West Islip.
Good evening, Board. My name is Dieter Speck from Spectacular Pools. My office address is 265 Brookfield Avenue, Centrum Riches, New York. Dieter, D-I-E-T-E-R, last name Specht, S-P-E-C-H-T. All right. Good evening, Board. Thank you for your time. Yard is obviously a little tight, and we're looking to put a pool 7 feet off of the property line in that area. We're not putting any patio, so we're going to keep that just planters, for shrubbery for privacy. If you have any questions, I'm here.
You're looking for both side and rear yards to 7 feet.
Yes, I am.
One of them?
Yeah.
You got a big pool that you're putting in there.
Pool's 16 by 34. All right. I understand.
Generally want one side to comply. Can you make that?
One side to comply. So that would be,
You decide.
okay.
So we have no.
I have to let you know which side right now. Yes, okay.
If you want to.
I would, can I ask the homeowner? They're behind me.
Yeah.
Okay, would you mind stepping up?
What do you want to?
They're asking basically from one of these numbers to become 10 versus 7.
So push it forward.
So that's what we'll, okay. So we're going to go off the rear property line, 10, amend the application for 10 off the rear, keeping 7 off the side, please.
Yeah, 14.
Oh, 14. Oof. It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna 10.
We require compliance on one
So
side.
why don't you take it to German and go back to the drawing board?
I don't, before we do that, I don't know if it's even gonna work. So you guys will not issue a variance for both sides, period. You never will.
This is, I mean, we have done it when somebody has 13,
Okay,
12 and a half. 13.
okay.
This is half.
I understand.
Why don't you do this? Why don't you take it to German, figure out where you can fit it in, and maybe help you.
Okay. Understand that? Okay. All right, thank you for your time.
Hold on. Larry, do you have any comments on this?
I would just agree that variance is substantial.
Is there anyone else that would like to be heard in this application? All right, so
So you could probably end up with a,
move it. Right.
Yeah.
adjust your expectations.
All right, thank you.
All right, so
We're gonna,
motion then to adjourn?
Yeah, should we do August 20?
August 20th?
Yeah, let me make sure that's a date. Never said I'd be a good secretary.
You get
August, yeah, it's August 20, right?
I'll just give you.
8/20.
Yes, August 20.
I'll just give you our thought process. You can make one side comply, or the other, as I said, bring it in at 13 by 13. Yeah. We can work with it, otherwise it's like putting this over there.
I understand.
What was it, El Caban?
We got a motion to adjourn to August 20th.
Motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor? All right.
Thank you for your time. Thank you.
You know? Crystal.
What channel was it on?
Japanese channel. Oh, come on, was not on. It's funny.
I know, but I'm saying.
YouTube.
Oh, yeah. Application number 421-24. German Rivas, permission to establish accessory apartment pursuant to Islip Town Code Section 68-602. Residence AA District, north side of Connecticut Avenue, 211.59 feet west of Illinois Avenue, Bay Shore.
Good evening, Maria Hickey, Victory Expediting, 606 Johnson Avenue, Suite 25, Bohemia, New York, 11716. And we are here to ask for permission to establish an accessory apartment. Driveway review complies, and everything, from what I can see, looks pretty standard.
Any questions from the board on this?
No questions.
It's on zoning.
Planning, do you have any comments on this application?
No comment.
Comments? Anyone else that would like to be heard in this application? Okay, I'll take the motion, please.
I'll make a motion.
That we grant the application for a period of 3 years.
Yeah.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Application's granted for a period.
Thank you. Have a nice evening.
Thank you, you too.
Quick Draw McGraw. Not a come
That's
on.
all you had to say.
His name is Quick Draw McGraw.
Jewish kids call them this.
Application number 422-24, William and Erica Staub. Permission to erect second-story addition 24.5 by 34.3, leaving side yard of 8.26 feet instead of required 14 feet, and front yard of 22.42 feet instead of required 25 feet. Residence B District, south side of Molly Boulevard, 645 feet west of Broadway Avenue, Holbrook.
Good evening, Christine from Accurate Expediting. Do you need my address? Fay, F-E-Y. You're welcome. Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. I'd actually like to amend the call of the hearing to read permission to erect a second-story addition, leaving a side yard of 11 feet instead of the required 14, and maintain a front yard setback of 22.42 instead of the required 25.
Are the dimensions of the addition the same?
So we have to cut it in, so we just
We'll eliminate those dimensions.
eliminate the dimensions, but we'll keep the, do the 11-foot. After, I'm sorry.
I'm going to make a motion to change the call to be permission to erect second-story addition, leaving side yard of 11 feet instead of required 14, front yard of 22.42 feet instead of required 25.
Correct.
Second.
All in favor?
Okay. Thank you. Well, after speaking with Nick on this project and finding out that there was no precedent set for that type of request and that it would likely be denied, I consulted with my client, decided to recalculate to a less invasive request. Originally, we were asking to go straight up on existing 1.5-story dwelling with an existing side and front yard setbacks. I've also obtained a letter from the neighbor directly next door to where the diminished side yard would be. They have no objection whatsoever. We feel this is in keeping with the nature and character of the neighborhood. We feel although the hardship is self-created, that it's not a substantial request and would not affect the surrounding neighborhood. I'd like the board to consider granting this application.
No, we spoke earlier and agreed 11 feet.
The applicant.
I spoke to you.
Is there anyone else that would like to be heard in this application?
And not Quick Draw McGraw. Motion.
Do you have any questions from the board? A motion from you.
Make a motion to approve the application as amended.
All in favor?
Thank you. Have a good evening.
Application number 349-24, adjourned from June 4, 2024. Matthew and Crystal Perino. Permission to erect second-story addition 22.3 by 27, leaving side yard of 12.3 feet instead of required 14 feet. To leave pool deck 6 inches high, having front yard of 9 feet instead of required 25 feet. Detached garage with awning, having rear yard of 3.7 feet instead of required 4 feet. And to leave 5-foot fence on property line, not having required setback of 15 feet. Residence B District, north side of Iroquois Street, 220 feet west of Parkway Boulevard, Ronkonkoma.
Good evening, members of the board. Gennaro Cozzolino for the homeowners, Matthew and Crystal Perino, 231 Iroquois Street, Ronkonkoma. We're in a Residence B zone. This is an adjournment from the previous hearing. We're building a second floor addition that requires planning, requesting permission from the board to build second floor addition requiring a variance for side yard setback, requesting to build at 12.3 feet from permitted 14 feet, a difference of 1.7 feet. Variance for FAR requesting 26.3% from permitted 25%, a difference of 1.3%. Proposed addition to be built over the existing footprint of the house, not encroaching any further into the side yard. Variance to maintain the wood deck in the front with a height of only 6 inches, which is pretty much on grade. Variance to maintain, we've reduced the roof over attached to the garage to 499 square feet. Therefore, asking permission to keep the 3.9 feet and the 3.7 foot setback, where we would require only 4. The other item in question is the 5-foot fence in the front, which the homeowner has agreed to cut back to 4 feet. Yes. Yes. It's a wood patio. It's on grade.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's only. So are we amending the call to 4 feet?
Remove it. Fence, right?
Okay.
Yeah. Or deny.
We can do fence.
Reference to the
It's going to 4 feet, so it's in compliance?
4 feet to go. Front yard.
Yeah, okay. I'm fine with the rest, yeah. Just deny it.
Planning, any comment?
Yeah, just. It has a 25 foot. You can see that. It's a bit of an unusual circumstance. From that big, but if it were not considered a full deck, it would. How much further it goes.
He's reducing the size of the structure.
He's reducing the size.
Detached garage.
Setback goes down to 4.
Anyone else that would like to be heard in this application? Sir? Please come up.
It's the homeowner.
It's the homeowner.
He's done a great job.
You want to speak on this application?
He's done a good job. You don't need him.
You're in support of it, right? Make sure.
Taking defeat out of the jaws of victory. I'll make a motion to deny that portion of the application for the 5-foot fence, but approve the balance of the application.
All in favor? Application is granted.
Thank you very much. Have a good evening.
Application number 423-24, Joshua and Allison Burwitz. Permission to leave shed 6.2 by 14.2, having rear yard of 6.8 feet instead of required 10 feet, and deck having side yard of 0.8 feet instead of required 5 feet. Residence BAA District, east side of Atlantic Avenue, 64 feet south of Neptune Walk, Seaview.
Good evening. Glenn Graham with Graham Associates, Bright Waters, New York. I just handed up a couple pictures of the deck we're asking relief on, along with a small shed in the rear yard. Also, 4 letters of support from the neighbors. The deck at 0.8 is only a very small portion of that. if you could unfold that survey, there's a highlighted portion.
What if there was no letters of support?
All right.
Thank you.
The survey handed up illustrates the 0.8-foot deck, which is essentially their bike rack. It's as you first enter the gate into the yard, immediately to your right is where they park the bikes. And the shed is a small shed adjacent to a larger shed that does have a CO and was granted 6-foot relief. Far as precedent goes, the next door neighbor was granted a 0-foot setback for a full ground level deck along the entire property, and also a shed with a 1.1-foot encroachment. And I presented that case a couple years ago, and that also had precedent prior to it. So
Mr. Graham, what brought the applicant here?
we put a second floor on that house last year, and it came up during CO review.
Any other questions from the board?
None.
Planning, any comments? Is there anyone else that would like to be heard in this application? No. Take a motion then. Second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Application is granted.
Thank you.
Application number 424-24, William Weingart. Permission to elevate two-story dwelling, leaving side yard of 6.8 feet instead of required 10 feet, total side yards of 16.8 feet instead of required 25 feet, to erect a second-story deck, leaving side yards of 6.3 feet and 6.5 feet, and second-story balcony, leaving side yard of 6.8 feet instead of required 15 feet each. Front yard of 22.5 feet instead of required 25 feet, to leave deck having rear yard of 6.7 feet and side yard of 3.3 feet and 6.3 feet instead of required 15 feet each, to expand decking leaving front yard of 10 feet instead of required 15 feet, all having floor area ratio of 37.78% instead of permitted 30%. Residence BAA District, west side of Broadway, 360 feet north of Central Walk, Fair Harbor.
Good evening, Glenn Graham with Graham Associates, Bright Waters, New York, representing the owners. The call of the meeting is rather long, but I'd like to point out that this is strictly a house lift. It's an existing non-conforming home that was granted ZBA relief in 1995, case 95-80. We are strictly lifting this house 5.3 feet. However, we're going to keep the first floor decks at the present level, so there will be no new impact to the neighbors.
How do you lift the house that leaves the deck?
We're going to break up some of the deck, get in, lift the house, put the piles in, but try to salvage all the decks.
Don't.
It's an upside down house, so the ramp we've proposed brings you up to the main floor to get in. And then, just like I said, bedrooms are on the first floor, living's on the second. They'll just go downstairs to use their current decks. It's less impact to the neighbors.
That's what they call an upside down house, or is that your? I thought an upside down.
Short and sweet.
Yeah, well, second floor living
Is that
space.
an architecture thing, or is that your?
I don't know. If I invented it, I'll take the credit.
Upside down. Bedrooms on the bottom.
I did hand up probably 50 pages of precedent. I happened to do a house 2 doors down, also 2 years ago, that the board granted a lot of the similar relief. In that case, we actually did lift the decks. We were in touch with the neighbors. I guess there was some concerns initially, but that's been resolved. So as far as I know, everybody's in favor of the application.
I think there's one neighbor that's still.
One neighbor. Polizo. As seen in the accompanying photo, this house is actually large. Any increase in height will just make what has been a bad situation. Barbara,
That's my only response to that is we can't prevent people from lifting their homes to be flood-proofed. We see it every day on Fire Island, and this board's seen me present dozens of applications.
That her concerns are not necessarily variances.
And to help, well, sure, concern, we're not lifting the decks.
Planning, do you have any comments on it?
Sure. There's a 3-foot balcony in the front of the home we're proposing. And it's strictly because the living is on the second space. It was a place for the owner to go out and have a cup of coffee. It's not even big enough to put a chair on. It's kind of a Juliet balcony.
And there's that and the small extension on the everything else.
Correct. And that ground level deck would stay at ground level.
And setbacks for both of those are similar or actually to existing setbacks for the use of it.
Yes. Specifically, 2 doors down was case 009-22 in Calcaterra.
Is there anyone else who would like to be heard in this application? No? All right, take a motion, please.
Make a motion.
Second. All in favor? Aye. Application is granted.
Thank you very much. Have a good night, everybody.
Application 425-24, Scott and Catherine Wysocki. Permission to erect second-story addition 25.5 by 26, leaving rear yard of 16.9 feet instead of required 25 feet, and floor area ratio of 31.3% instead of permitted 25%. Residence B District, 278 Cluster, northwest corner of Singingwood Drive and Sunny Glen Way, Holbrook.
Good evening, members, Chairman of the Board and members of the board. My name is Edward Moulter of the Architectural Office of Josh Jacob, RA. I am here tonight representing Scott and Katie Wysocki of 156 Singingwood Drive in Holbrook. Scott and Katie would like to add a small addition on the second story of their house. They already have an existing second story, which just has like a common den space and an office space. They would like to move all their bedrooms from the first floor up to the second floor and then convert their existing bedroom spaces on the first floor to common spaces. Their primary bedroom will become the new family room and den and a laundry area and a home office area. Being the fact that they live on a corner properties are very, very tough to make a floor plan work. I think we really sharpened our pencil and gave the Sakis the area space that they would need for their family. I'll take any questions you guys may have.
Questions from the board at this time?
Question, have you done any research? And maybe
This
kind
one
of
wasn't.
what the area holds?
It wasn't really a journey.
Similar grants? Or
Lenny, what do you have?
There's one grant above 32. It's the house straight across the street, very similar circumstance. Actually, the entire grant right across the street, very similar.
You'll remember, sir.
Rear yard setback. If they are required.
Or maybe not.
It was less.
So we have an otherwise conforming neighborhood with 130 points. Speaking for myself, I think it would be just to grant 30.2. Want it to be fair to. 1%.
I do know that my neighbor next to my house, which is in Bohemia, similar district.
Not relevant, no.
Not relevant? Okay.
That's 500.
Let's just
save everybody's time here.
Okay.
500-foot radius. So
No worries.
no offense meant, but.
No worries.
So we granted 30.2, so we'll give you 30.2. Otherwise, we just keep getting larger and larger, and somebody said that doesn't want this place looking like the Bronx. I'm not sure granted 30. Be that as it may, 30.2 is my.
Are we always picking on the Bronx?
Is there anyone else that would like to be heard in this application? Not from the Any other comments from the board?
Mr. Walter, I think that you can definitely. 30.2.
Well, I guess we'll take the 30.2.
You go. It's a win for everybody.
All right, I'll take a motion.
I'll make a motion that we grant the application at 30. Oh, I'm sorry. No, go ahead.
No. It's all yours. Come on.
I'm moving into home.
Work.
We're bringing it back in honor of.
I'm a hungry man.
I'll make a motion to deny the application, however, grant an FAR of 30.2.
Second.
So
We're giving them the side yard, we're just denying it.
So we have,
right?
rear yard.
Oh,
the rear yard be granted.
Yeah.
They are 30.
Correct.
We have a second?
I got a second.
All in favor? Aye.
Thank you very much, guys. Have a great night.
As amended.
Giving McCabe a couple of.
No. I'm a peaceful man.
Application number 395-24, Gretchen Hugh. The calendar says that it was adjourned from June 25, but that's actually not correct because we pulled it in time for the hearing and we didn't send it to the newspaper, so it was not heard, wasn't on the calendar on June 25.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Thomas Bloor, the architect for the project, 60 Carlton Avenue, Suite 202, Islip Terrace, New York, 11752. So the intent of this application is to construct a new second-story addition over the existing dwelling. This application was presented to the board on August 1st, 2023, received a reserved decision that evening, ultimately was granted for the front yard setback and chimney encroachment, but denied for the side yard setback of 5.4 feet to the second-story addition. The significant difference in tonight's application is that I've redesigned the second floor addition, shifting it completely to the north, which now has a side yard setback of 21.1 feet, which is conforming. However, we still need to reconstruct the roof line on that portion of the house. It'll remain as one story, very low slope, and less in mass than the existing roof line. So that's what we're requesting the variance for the 5.4, which is technically 4.6 feet to the overhang. To put it in perspective, that side of the house right now, at the 5.4, 4.6 foot overhang, is 18.1 feet high. When we rebuild that roof, it will be 11.7 feet. So instead of that being a gable end on the side yard, it'll now be a sloping roof like this, sloping away from that side yard. And we're also proposing an addition in the rear, only one story, no attic above it that you can stand up or anything. That has a 9.1 foot setback. And I think the other items were very minimal. The front yard setback and the FAR was under 30%. The board should have any questions. I can also submit a front elevation, which kind of just clarifies how we're reducing that height on the one side. Yep.
Elevation will clarify the confusion.
If you have a request for a roof line alteration meeting.
Correct. So that's the existing house is 1.5 stories high. We want to demo that roof down and just reframe it as a low slope. So in the gray area in that drawing, that's what's being removed. So the gray is the existing house that I shaded in gray. 18.1.
He's reducing the height.
Yeah, so I'm reducing the height where the non-conforming setback is.
I'm looking at the document that shows a 5.4 between the property line.
Correct. Correct.
That's going to remain.
Correct. We're going to demolish the chimney, demolish the 1.5 story roof.
How did it get to be 5.4?
I don't know if the house was CO'd prior to the codes existing, but it's an existing home with a CO.
Built circa 1930.
All right, so
it's been like that.
Predates the building department then, right?
Is that the original construction? All right. Legacy. All right.
there anyone else who would like to be heard in this application? Hey, do you have any comments? Take a motion, Mr. McCabe? All in favor?
Aye.
Application's granted.
Thank you. Have a great evening.
Applications. I don't want it. I don't want it. I want my people, my district.
These are my people.
Application number 426-24, Max Solans and Mindy Tagay. Permission to erect one-story addition, 8 by 22.2, leaving front yard of 14 feet instead of required 25 feet, and side yard of 7.7 feet instead of required 10 feet. To leave outdoor shower on rear property line not having required setback of 10 feet. Shed number 1 having side yard of 3.4 feet and rear yard of 9.8 feet instead of required 10 feet each. And shed number 2 having rear yard of 6.5 feet instead of required 10 feet. Residence BAA District, west side of Elm Walk, 80 feet north of Central Walk, Fair Harbor.
Good evening. I'm Michael Dunn, the architect for the applicant at 256 Orinoco Drive, Brightwaters, New York, 11718. So they are proposing a one-story addition. It is a one-story house that currently sits 22 feet from the front. We went back and forth with what size of an addition. They were trying to make the bedrooms comfortable, so they said, let's go for an 8-foot addition. So we are asking for 14 foot instead of 25, which seems like a lot. So I guess we're going down that road of nature and character of the neighborhood. So if you look on the block of Elm Walk, the two houses right to the north of it are 14.7 and 15.2. And the one to the south is also in front of their house. So that's kind of where they came up with the idea of, let's bump out to the front to be like the neighbors. So after looking at the maps, there are a bunch on Elm and some on Fifth that I could get if you wanted more. I didn't know how many you would like to see that are in that range.
Planning, what do you have?
Well, the reason going down this road is as far as rent goes, there's not really much. Trying to make an argument, which I don't think is unreasonable when you're taking a lot like this. Everybody else has their front yard setback. Aesthetically, it would actually probably look better if people are generally other rather than one person setback. I don't know how many would be required for that, what they're comfortable with. So either is like not much longer than that, but that is the argument trying to establish here.
I ask you a question. If there are no variances, how does the home?
Fire Island.
Oh, they look like they were roofed over porches, right? The two houses to the north, they look like it. I'm looking.
Maybe they could have been closed in
And at some point
porches.
they were enclosed and,
Yeah, could be.
or they got certificates of compliance maybe sometime later, but.
This was Ocean Beach.
Well, then again, as you like to point out, it's
rather good. It's not decking
It's the house, correct? Yes.
And you determine the setbacks from
I
surveys or?
foiled the surveys. Yeah, I have two surveys, those two immediate to the north that are real close that are asking. I could hand them in if you would like.
Just out of curiosity, how many were done by John?
Or his
Hopefully all of
predecessor, yes.
So how many homes have you oil surveys for that show it's whatever it is? Yeah.
I foiled 6 to start and I got about 4 back that were less than 22. But 15 seemed to be around the number. But I did get a 14.7. A 15, I have 15.2. And then the other 2 were across the street. I do have one more. I think that was to the deck was 15, a 2-story deck. But that was my question. Should I could get more if you would like.
What do I have? My opinion is that if a pattern that would not be Probably more accurate. About a-
He's asking for 14.
I can't say what he has higher. Whatever they do, go with.
I would feel more, first of all, you're asking to be the lowest, greatest granted.
So that I would.
There.
Oh, yeah, we don't actually know that.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to, why don't we, I'm asking, why don't we determine this? I'd like to feel more comfortable either way. If we can find other 14.
Okay.
Or if we can establish a new character.
Mhm.
All those homes are right in there.
Mhm.
We all know Fair Harbor.
Yes, yes.
But if you could get us going maybe 4, 5, 6 houses north south.
Okay.
We have a better idea, then we'll come.
Okay.
I don't want to, I know nobody in the board wants to make decisions about all.
Yeah, I'll foil some more surveys and get some more information. So yeah, I would take an adjournment whenever works best for you. No, they're full, be a full start. Yep.
What about the rest of the application?
Okay.
Outdoor shower on. Right on the property line. That's what it's saying.
What's in the back? I mean, it's Fair Harbor.
No, it's another house.
There is another house.
Don't you want to look into the other items too?
Yes.
August 20 should work, right?
Okay, that's fine.
Motion to adjourn to August 20th.
Motion. Second.
All in favor?
Thank you. I'll see you then. Thank you.
Excuse me. Application number 427-24, Dominic Davella, permission to leave roofed over porch having second front yard of 24.5 feet instead of required 30 feet, resulting in floor area ratio of 35% instead of permitted 25%. 6-foot fence on property line not having required setback of 10 feet, air conditioning units having side yard of 1.2 feet instead of required 2 feet, and driveway on side property line and wood walkway on side and rear property lines not having required setback of 4 feet each. Residence AA District, northwest corner of Shoal Drive and Oak Neck Lane, West Islip.
Good evening, Chairman and Board. My name is Karen Svensson, Long Tuminello. I'm the attorney for Dominic Tavello. He's here with me today. We are here in support of our application as just read to the board, so I'm not going to go through the whole thing. But, Your Honor, we find that the character of the neighborhood clearly supports this application. In fact, starting with the 6-foot fence on the second front property line, it must go down on Oak Neck Lane, approximately 500 feet of fence that are directly in line with our fence.
I'll say this, I live on Oak Neck Lane and not wrong with that. But are those there legal? Probably not.
Everybody in the neighborhood would have to have, in fact, even houses that are newly built. There's been a lot.
My question is, I can't imagine we granted many 6-foot fences. in Oak Neck Lane. There are a lot of West.
I think a different take on this is, I driven past that fence, it's not look like.
Oh, our fence?
No, yeah, it has piers, but it dips down, and it.
Not really a 6.
And I believe it's.
At its, yes, it does. If we, let me just, if we can show you the pictures, I believe there's some pictures of. Oh, I have photos. I have photos that we submitted, I believe, that I had already submitted.
We got a book of photos. Yeah. What's that?
That's it, right?
There was a fence to two photo in there, yeah.
That's the front, yes, that's the four.
Okay.
That's the picture.
Photo porch shows everything.
Are these the photos you sent in yesterday? to the
Yes,
office?
there's a fence in the photo, and you can see the open slats, and that it sort of has a dipping, at points, it's definitely not 6 feet. It's probably closer to 5 feet. Well, perhaps maybe the tallest one pier.
Planning, do you have any comments on this?
I don't know if there's much to that.
What about the rest of the application?
Okay, well, we have removed the shed that was originally in a violation that was submitted, or is being removed.
That's not on the call, correct? No.
Correct, it's not on our application. With regard to the driveway and the walkway, that once again is in conforming with the neighborhood. It basically wraps to the side of our property line, and as you can see from the pictures that were submitted, it's cobblestone, and pretty much everybody in the neighborhood has the same driveway and cobblestone, and aesthetically, it's it's in conforming with every other piece of property on the block. There's a 10-foot pavers that are 10-foot wide pavers that go down. If required, we could cut them down, but then we would have sort of a blank area that we could, it's still ground cover. We would have to put something, whether it be gravel or, there would have to be something on the property line there. So right now, there's just pavers that go straight down from the driveway on the, down the property line. Yes. Well, we were back in 2003, they were already approved for 30% FAR, and they never, it just was not finalized.
What did they add from that?
That's the thing. My client is saying that, in fact, they didn't add anything other than, in fact, they took down the plans that were submitted so that the covered patio. Yes.
Before you do that, I'm just saying is that it didn't go from 35%. Something had to be added. Something, you had to get to 35%, that's law. And if you were granted 30, something occurred. You can't say nothing.
Well,
and if you do, then we'll have to re-inspect.
I think that might be, because we were really surprised, actually, that it came to 35, because my client said that, in fact, the covered patio was taken back from the plans when they were only approved for the 30 and was built in compliance with that.
We actually made it smaller than the,
It's an error and you want an adjournment, but we just can't kind of gainsay, yeah, it must have been an error. It wouldn't be fair.
Would they like to come back and do another inspection? Would that be?
Why don't you talk to your surveyor and have your surveyor make sure everything. And agree with that.
I mean, we normally don't get building departments that far off. You're saying they're 35. We've had fraction, not 5%.
Just,
Something has to be built.
well, the floor pad, the walkway was, they put down a,
Oh, the roof over patio.
and the roofed over patio, the roofed over patio, though, it has an overhang anyway, and so they just basically put,
well,
I'm sorry, well, could you just say it?
Dominic Tavella.
You said
Thank
homeowner.
you. So in terms of the covered porch, it was originally drawn by the architect larger, and you guys didn't approve that. So we cut it back so that it would conform within that 30%. So honestly, I don't know why they're saying it's 35% now, because we actually made the footprint smaller than our original
You
application.
originally applied for 33%.
We're not saying it. There's,
Right, and they gave 30, so.
We gave
Yes.
30.
So why are they 35?
Mr. DeVilla, why don't you get both your architect
Why
and
don't
your
we just give
surveyor
30%?
at one table? Figure out where the discrepancy is coming from. If you say that this is less than what was at 33.
Yeah, they literally, you guys didn't approve it, which was fine, and they drew it smaller, the back porch smaller than what we originally asked for.
So-
Does that side yard count towards this number? Because that was not originally
That was
there.
the only thing that was different, was that there was a wood walkway, which is now
Just covered
just
pavers.
covered pavers now.
Okay, here's what we need. Yeah. Once you cover it, once you cover it, you're adding to the FAR.
Covered meaning the floor, not there's no roof over it.
Maybe planning.
Hold on, let's,
so you're not presently working with an architect?
That was literally 20 years ago.
It has been.
So you're not
existing.
presently working with an architect?
No.
So you say that we're saying it's 35%, but typically when somebody goes for a certificate of compliance, the burden is on you to tell us what the floor area ratio is.
Okay.
So we can get we are working with a contractor who drew up the
The
plans.
pavers we put on the side of the house does not count for this.
It does count, they're saying, correct?
There's a roof over it.
No, there's
There's
no
no
roof.
roof over it.
Just,
I think you need to get your design professionals on one page and figure out your numbers.
okay.
It just says.
We have a short date.
Our planning person now
That's why.
just said it called out on your survey. as a covered patio.
you're the accountant.
Shows covered patio only on the one side of the house. That's what we approved on a building in 2000. That's the covered patio right there on the side.
Yeah, that's,
And then this.
it's the back patio.
The entirety of the house, all the way up to the back, covered patio, entire rear side, none up.
So that back patio is what we came in and asked for permission to build. And the way,
But you were denied.
right, because we were too far over. So we redrew it to come within that percentage that you guys approved.
This is being called out as 29. What this was.
But it also says permission fee. Wait, time out. So I think I understand what's going on. You submit the drawings as part of your permit application?
Sure, absolutely. Yeah, the architect, everything was done, when he used the word legit.
So the survey shows what's there.
Right.
Not what you drew to fix. That's what I think is missing.
Yeah, what you're looking at now is the way we, I hate to use the word fixed it, but the way,
I'm looking at a survey.
Dated 2021 though, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
So the property looked substantially the same as it does now,
yeah,
correct?
that's the fix, I'm gonna
That's
call
the
it.
fix.
Even though,
I thought that he said you
This is the original
On
plot.
the back.
So, not plot plan, you can see, they only have.
Yeah, no, it's substantially different.
yeah, we didn't have that back porch.
Ours was a little bit more
Yeah,
setback.
it looks like, yeah, you pulled out the front of the house.
No,
No.
we just added that back porch.
All right, I think we'll.
Why don't, let's see, does anyone else would like to be heard in this application? Why don't we take it, we go to 20?
Sure. And you're going to be able to tell us what the FAR is?
Yeah, we're going to have to get our contractor.
Yeah, I'll have to have it
come
redrawn.
in with the
because
plans
Clearly, what we were
with an
told
architect.
and what you guys are telling me are not the same.
You're gonna want to get your surveyor involved.
Okay.
Okay. All right, thank you.
What is the next date that we have available?
August 20.
Okay, that's perfect. Thank you.
Do you think that a design professional can prepare all that in time?
Get a survey by August 20.
Yeah, you don't, I'm not sure why you would need another survey, because as we said, it looks exactly the same as it does at the date of this survey in August of 21. Unless you plan on taking something off, and that would be called a plot plan. You want to show us what the FAR is right now of this house.
And that would be from a surveyor though, correct?
No, that would be from an architect.
Contractor or an architect? Okay.
Surveyor will do the lot.
Okay, the architect.
Just to make sure we've got no issues with the air conditioning unit.
That can be fixed.
No, we don't have any issue.
How about the 6-foot?
I can foil all the neighbors that have the plan and see if they were approved on a variance or they're done illegally. Is that what you we could bring that to the next meeting. Would that be helpful?
And so the FAR.
Okay.
No.
No, we're gonna have
the
to get
house,
one.
as far as we were concerned, was done. I need help, yes, thank you.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Who's the architect? Oh, hi. We don't know him.
What do you, got a new partner? or-
I'm gonna take it until August 20th.
That's fine.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
All right, thank
Let's see
you.
if we get the architect.
August 20th, it's getting very popular.
Application number 361-24, adjourned from June 4, 2024. Margaret Brown Domenech and John Domenech. Permission to erect one-story addition, 15 by 16.8, leaving rear yard of 14.81 feet instead of required 25 feet, and floor area ratio of 27% instead of permitted 25%. Residence B District, northeast corner of Moffett Boulevard and Jefferson Avenue, East Islip. I understand we have an amendment, right?
Sorry?
We have an amendment?
Oh, yes, we do. Christina Bravin Morano Expediting, 2938 Hempstead Turnpike, Levittown. We'd like to amend the application. The request is now for a 17.78-foot setback.
Instead of 14.81,
Correct.
17
78.
So the dimensions we should remove, right? Because they're not the same anymore?
Correct. The new dimensions are 15 feet by 13 feet 9 inches.
All right, so motion to modify the call accordingly.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Okay, so yes, we were here on June 4th. The original proposal was 15 feet by 16.8, and now we're reducing that down to 13.9 so that we can increase the rear yard setback to 17.78 feet. So
Does that adjust the floor area ratio or no?
It should, a little bit,
Right.
not a lot.
it just reduces it slightly. I can get you that number.
Planning, what are your comments?
So she's saying this one it's a sunroom on a non-conforming any kind of addition here. That being said, the physical area is 22. I will say I don't necessarily number,
But we have precedent for 22.
for an addition.
We know it's a sunroom.
Is that a one-story addition or is that a?
One story.
Sorry, sunroom.
My brothers are that, you know what people might say, look, you granted 17.78.
For one-story sunroom.
Yeah, but nobody's gonna tell us that, and we don't have the ability sitting here. That's all for, say, zoning board decision 29 of 06, and here's what you granted, and look, it was Bauer for Wexford. Or we go, oh, if we granted it, how do we do, we never get, we just don't have the ability. So are we going to now bring this down to 17.78? You know, say, what's the difference between a sunroom and an accessory or addition? I don't know the difference. One's glass, one's
box.
box, one's glass.
This is all made out of glass?
Well, it's all glass, non-habitable space. It can never be converted to habitable space. And as planning mentioned, it's a non-conforming lot. It's 7,500 square feet is normal.
Not going to be habitable space. What is it going to be used for?
Meaning that you could never live in there. You can never convert it to a bedroom or a kitchen. It's just for enjoyment. I mean,
It's Four Seasons.
no, habitable space is living space where you can
No.
eat, sleep, cook, and live. And it's not year-round either. You can only use it approximately 10 months a year.
Habitable space is space that you can live in. Non-habitable space would be garage. You can go in there.
I live in a garage.
Chairs, tables, that's habitable.
Quickly clarify, this would be
By town of Islip? Okay.
And we are in the town. The reason I brought that up, because you were so quick to cut me off and say that I was wrong. I just wanted to record. And you confirm.
But I think, did you show us last time that it's screens and it's not, did you say it's not heated, right?
Correct, non-heated, all glass. Not insulated. It's an atrium style. Which, if you have the plans there, it's page 12 of 21. And you can see that it's just completely glass. And in order to meet or to make the new setback, they had to remove a 6-foot functional window from each side, and now they have a 3-foot fixed. And they're also willing to plant arborvitaes along the north and eastern lot lines so that their neighbors are not impacted in any way.
So the plans that you gave us, I think we had these for the first hearing. Did you give us new ones like this for the second?
Yes, we did.
Okay, I'll make sure that we have the dates right.
Okay. I'm happy to submit this for you today if you want that as part of the record. I could pull this page out. It's not a problem.
Now, the ones we're looking at right now don't have a revision date in the title box. Do you have a revision date on those?
Yes.
Great.
Anyone else who would like to be heard in this
You
application?
want the full set?
No. Come up, man. You Just come up and give us your name and address. Come up, give us your name and address.
Melinda Vitale, 37 Moffett Boulevard, East Islip. I'm on the corner of Moffett and Jefferson. My kitchen window looks directly into their property. I can't wait for that screening room to go up. It's going to be beautiful. It's going to enhance Moffett Boulevard, which certainly can use all of the enhancements it gets. I'm sure it will be done within the town's requirements, and I have no opposition at all. You're welcome.
Anyone else that would like to be heard in this application? Any-
Fine. Make a motion that we reserve decision.
We really should come up with a policy.
We should.
All right, decision's been reserved.
We also
Thank you.
find out if there's any way that we can distinguish these.
You said same
I
thing.
think we'll have more than 45 days.
All right. And we don't want any applesauce on it.
Well, we always could bring up a reserved decision onto screens. If they cite a decision, we never did.
One reserve. What? Just one reserve so far.
Yep.
Application number 359-24, adjourned from June 4, 2024. Ellen Beldy and Timothy Dempsey. Permission to install decking and outdoor shower, leaving rear yard of 4.5 feet instead of required 15 feet, and to erect shed 12 by 7, leaving rear yard of 5.4 feet instead of required 10 feet. Residence BAA District, west side of Broadway, 160 feet south of Central Walk, Fair Harbor.
Good evening, Chairman, members of the board. Christopher Ang, 93 Main Street, West Sayville.
What was the purpose of the adjournment?
The adjournment, I was not here. I was away. Sorry. This is a case that was before the board in 2020. And since then, we made some changes to the site plan. And with those changes were the relocation of the shower and also it looks like the addition of a proposed shed. When I originally presented this in 2020, I did not catch that the denial didn't have the shed on it, either on the denial or on the approval. So it was on the drawing, but it just never went in front of the board. So the two items that we're presenting right now, I just gave a drawing to show both site plans, the one that was previously approved in 2020 and the one that we're presenting today on the right-hand side. So the left-hand side is the previously approved plan, and then the right-hand side is the is what we're proposing right now. No, it's a shower.
As far as the outdoor power is concerned, there was a bit of a strange event. There was granted with the board asking the applicant to make every effort to accommodate the neighbors' privacy concerns.
I think he just called you guys strange.
It's unusual.
2020.
Oh, some of us were not here.
Most of us.
Who signed that opinion?
Done.
Lorenzo.
I remember it well. I can explain it. And it was a Zoom hearing. It was during the pandemic. And I think 5 neighbors registered to be heard on the application, 4 or 5. And there were 2 neighbors to the rear, shown there in the aerial image, who were a little concerned about what it was going to look like. So after a lot of discussion about things really not related to the backyard so much, the board asked the applicants to just please, consider your neighbors when you make your decisions about where to install these things. You might have talked about screening.
One of the items that we were very sensitive to was the height of the building. The property is split up between two flood zones, an AE10 and a VE14. We kept the whole house within the AE10. If we would have crossed over to the VE14, we would have lifted this house 5 feet higher, just because we had to by code. So we tried to keep it north we did keep it north as much as we could, and we were able to keep the height 5 feet lower.
If there is a problem, I'm saying there is power since last time. Next to the house, edge of the back. 12.5.
Mr. Hang, why can't they put the shower back where it was?
That's a good question. The owner does not want it up against the house. They would like it in the place that was showing we're proposing.
Yeah, but they don't want it against their house. They want to put it closer to the other house.
I would like to point out that we already have a laundry sitting right adjacent to where we're putting the shower. So there is a structure right where we're putting the shower.
It is no closer than the one closer than side.
Do we have many of those showers that are out? I know some of these are on top of it. We have, is that a normal grant that the shower out?
It's not. It's unusual.
I would also, I would like to point out the difference between the laundry and the shower. By definition, the shower is considered a deck and not an accessory structure. So that's why we have the the setback that's more extreme on the shower than it is on the accessory structure.
It's not really a planning question.
I'm just trying to wonder. People can do a lot of things. And it's 5.4 instead of 4.5.
4.5 instead of 15, again, worth noting these.
Well, granted, I guess we would say that there is, 12 to 30. Yeah.
Like a right away.
Okay, and that's more than a lot of the showers.
That is more than seven.
Okay.
She wants shower.
Is there anyone else who would like to be heard in this application? Any other questions from the board? Any other questions from the board? Anything else?
Nothing else.
Sure. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'll make a motion that we grant the application, specifically noting that there is an 8-foot utility map that actuality grants over 12 feet distance, which makes it more palatable.
All in favor? Application.
Thank you.
Application number 428-24, John and Shannon DiPaola. Permission to leave accessory structure containing habitable space, an indoor tub and shower, bathroom exceeding 20 square feet, interior walls, air conditioning, and total square footage exceeding 400 square feet in violation of Islip Town Code Section 68-3, definitions, and gazebo having 53.5 feet in the front of the dwelling instead of the required 20 feet behind the front line of the dwelling. Residence A District, north side of Shinnecock Lane, 834.7 feet west of Woodland Drive, East Islip.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. My name is Renee Giorgini. I'm an attorney, been retained by Mr. and Mrs. DiPaola to present here tonight. I did not put in the application, so I didn't know whether you needed copies of the floor plan, the elevation, and the survey of the property. I've also got some photographs of the images. Mr. and Mrs. DiPaola purchased the property in 2013. It was a bank-owned property, and as they say, it is as is when they purchased it. So if we want to address the gazebo first, the gazebo is located almost on the street of the property at the very, very front. It's existing. And there are a lot of neighbors here tonight that state that it's a great place. They all gather there. It's a place for the neighborhood to have a glass of wine and relax. The kids sitting there and talk and play.
For the neighbors that like it.
Oh, there are a lot of neighbors here tonight.
Where is the gazebo on the property?
It's in the front. I've got the photographs.
I don't think.
Oh, okay.
I don't think we've ever granted, we've ever had a gazebo in the very front of the property. I know it's nice. No. It's good to go there for 1 hour. I don't think.
give you the things they say.
My concern is that there's staff and everybody. Theoretically, a gazebo is part of the property.
Gazebo's on the property line, showers on the property line.
Mr. Chairman, I guess the inspector had mentioned to my clients that it would have to be removed because in the event the road, or moved in the event they wanted to widen the road at some point, that it would become an issue. But well, maybe you can't. Maybe you can't. Maybe it's not,
We gotta protect ourselves from officer.
What happens to the half the neighborhood that eats?
Well, this case, why don't they legalize gazebos in the house?
Well, then, yeah, the town can build it legalized. But right now, it's awful. And my concern is, if it's granted, I mean, Article 78, what was that? Call us and say, why did you make it look like an idiot?
Do the whole by yourself.
No. Well, how would we, why would, why do? Yeah, right. So, right, that comes with the territory. So, how would, that's my concern. We never grant. I see it's nice and it's nice.
Real
That's
nice.
what we have to say is we grant one, we get granted.
I really can't have a response to that, you know. I understand that.
With the accessory structure. Several.
Why don't we go through the call here and see?
Yeah, let's try the accessory structure.
Okay, really, actually, it's kind of talking at the same time. This is there. Several things pulled out here, your bathroom, your walls. In the garage? Yeah, there's a partition wall between like the one car garage. It's identified as a work hobby area.
And that's not permitted.
No.
Because it's not habitable space.
Relatively recent change.
Would have been permitted by.
Good amount of it would have.
We have to consider that.
I don't think it's turning here for not. So, as it is not, a couple of those could be years old. Otherwise, it's.
The application has to be made.
Be more grantable, more grantable.
Assuming, I don't know.
How long has it been there? Not the gazebo, the garage.
My clients have no idea. It was there when they purchased the property.
When did they purchase
In 2013. They purchased it out of foreclosure.
What have they done at that area?
They have done nothing interior to that area.
For the accessory structure, not. We can check. We don't know what the interior. If they have any pictures.
March.
Yeah, March 2023. Any pictures of the interior of the, I guess.
Well, we'd actually need to accept the application differently. We have
Yeah, no,
to.
it has to be a new application, right?
I don't know that it needs a brand new application. You guys can help me think that through, but we do have to notify everybody within 200 feet certified, mailed, attorneys requested. We need 3 affidavits stating to knowledge of its existence prior to the code amendment. And we need one of the.
Affidavits of non-interest party. You said you did not.
We have at least 6 here tonight, so
You didn't submit the application.
I did not. The application, I think, was a result of, there's an open permit for solar panels, and when they went to inspect, that's how this unfolded.
They're in support.
These are the neighbors, they may be able to confirm that the structure was there. Yes.
So let them go on the record and say it was like that before March, we're not dealing with that.
It was, I'll have to see, it was a bank, yeah, it was a bank owned. Let's see if they have it.
It's not the outright application. Yeah, it doesn't make sense because
Okay.
you gotta do it for a different application.
Okay.
Yeah,
Submit.
just because it's a town will collect tax and they can make that. Because it's on the assessment record, doesn't mean
Now, check the assessment.
But it'll say whether it was existed at that time, is what you're saying. Okay. Right. This is why I don't think the prior owners probably had any permits done.
Check the assessment.
Okay. So you're adjourning this and coming back as a non-conforming?
You have to amend
Do we
your
have to start
application. You
over?
don't have the right application.
Okay.
Here, I'm not sure would have been allowed previously. Or
We'll suss it out. We'll figure this out.
All right, let's, I know a few of you came here tonight to speak. We're going to do, yes, that the applicants adjourn their application during this hearing, reapply, and they can speak to the department about exactly how to reapply for the non-conforming use application. I believe that the gazebo will be denied.
Well, man, can we just, I think it would be better if you made the application properly heard. Right now, it was brought kind of in a weird way, and anything you say now is just gonna have to be repeated.
No, but in the interest of the applicants, it's better that we do it all.
It's better for everybody that way.
Well, they. Sorry? That's my hunch, yes, sir. But we're not making an action tonight. We're not denying anything tonight. We're adjourning it.
Okay, wait, can I, wait.
If you'd like to testify, come on up here.
Yeah, we don't have anybody's name, address, the record, and we're not making a decision tonight.
All right, well, then come on up here and speak, man. We're trying to get everyone out of here in the interest of time, and we're coming
Very
back.
fast. I speak very fast. Teresa
Name and
O'Hara.
address.
Yes.
Name and
Teresa O'Halloran, 133 Shinnecock Lane, East Islip. I've been there for 30 years. That gazebo's been there for, well, at least 20. It is a dead-end street. So that does talk to the fact that not every block may be allowed a gazebo. It is a dead-end street. We have a flag committee on that street. There are 14 houses. We raise over $300 every season to put out new flags. I'm the president of the committee. We have a gentleman on the block who's also does all the installation. I can assure you that no one on the block has a problem with that gazebo. It is a family gathering area. I think the next time somebody does apply for it and it's not in the right area, then you can turn around and make that decision at that point in time. I'd like you to consider the gazebo.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so what we're suggesting is that we adjourn the hearing tonight, an open date, which will give you time to reapply for non-conforming use. Correct?
On the accessory structure, not the gazebo. I mean, for the gazebo.
They can leave the gazebo
You'd have
on,
to go
but it's
before,
not
well,
right.
she'd have to go back to 1938 to try to make a legal non-conforming argument on the gazebo.
The gazebo.
Yes.
On the opposite side of the street of us, they're like that backs up to us, they have a gazebo in the front of their house.
Well, when they put up solar panels and the building department discovers an above-ground pool,
They have a gazebo.
you know, it's just the way, it's the
Not
way we hear
legalized.
You
applications.
can make whatever argument you want. And we'll consider
And if that there is someone else that butts up.
Is it,
against
is it,
it depends.
is it on their CO? Is
documentation supporting it.
Right.
it on their
If it's
CO?
there illegally, it doesn't help.
If they're illegally, it doesn't count. If they're legally,
Why don't you guys do some pulse of COs, see what's there, and then we can take it from there. But it doesn't benefit either of us.
You don't want us
To sit
making
here
a
and talk
decision
about
on it
what we
tonight.
might or might not do based on what might or might not be legal.
To quickly speak to the question, it's a requirement to be behind the front line. So it's supposed to be 20 feet behind the front line of the house.
So far to have to be basically in our
Currently, it's
neighbor's.
50-something feet. It's supposed to be in your rear yard, as an accessory structure. That's.
Oh, my God.
All right, we're gonna take an adjournment.
Make a motion?
I got a motion to adjourn, please.
motion.
Motion. All right, second, the application's been adjourned. It's an open date. You'll speak to the department and figure out how to go forward from here.
I will.
This is in the best interest of your clients, if you could just let them know that.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Mary has an 8:30.
No, what do you got? for us,
Don't
Dave?
worry, guys, don't
We're
worry.
trying.
Don't worry.
7:54,
I
what do we
appreciate it.
got?
It's almost like the Rangers are playing.
Well, it's more important. It's your kid's birthday.
I got nowhere to go.
Listen to me. Your kids only have one, the kids only have one birthday between them.
125th. Yeah, I know,
Oh,
it's
no.
true. Poor things, 8 minutes apart. Here, you can pass some of those
I'm
down.
looking out for the taxpayers.
There's two decisions.
Bad weather's coming.
Yep, we all got 15 minutes away.
All right.
Really? Tonight?
Yeah, I left my pool cushions out.
So what do we got, Mary?
All right, everybody. We have two decisions to read into the record.
Okay.
And we have no renewals tonight of accessory apartments for two families. So application number 251-24, Stephen Origima. In accordance with the proposed written decision dated July 16, 2024, the application is denied. On motion of
Motion. Second? Second. All in favor? Aye. Application denied.
application number 265-24, William and Jessica Lemura. In accordance with a proposed written decision dated July 16, 2024, the application is denied with regard to shed number one, however, granted permission to maintain no less than 10 feet behind the front line of the dwelling, and granted as to shed number 2 and the pool patio. On motion of,
Motion. Second. All in favor? Aye.
that's a wrap, Ken.